What villains can we expect in the next installment of Spider-Man from Insomniac Games? And what villains do we even want to see? I have my views, the community has their views, and we also have a realistic approach as to what could actually occur. Now, if you've been keeping up with the channel, I released a poll a couple days ago to gather some data on what the community wanted for villains in Spider-Man 2. And before we do go over that, let's discuss what we can actually expect from the next installment. And as of right now, this game is not yet confirmed, but let's be honest, Spider-Man is Sony's baby, and they're never going to let go. They will milk that cow dry of all of its web before they stop making Spider-Man content. And with all that said, let's begin. So let's go ahead and travel back all the way to Spider-Man PS4, and let's see what villains we have confirmation of Spider-Man fighting in the past. So based on collectibles, we have fought Sandman, Lizard, and Mysterio, and I believe that these are three top contenders for returning villains in Spider-Man 2. We know about their existence in the universe, we have just yet to actually fight them on screen. Sandman and Lizard have appeared on the big screen before, alongside Mysterio, and with the recent release of Spider-Man Far From Home, the popularity behind Mysterio has grown significantly. Aside from these three, Green Goblin and Venom, we have received every main villain from the movies into the game so far, and Insomniac Games doesn't really have a formula that they go about when bringing in new characters. They are open to bringing in reoccurring characters and characters we've never seen before. What is most important to them is that they subvert your expectations and leaving you wanting more content. When you finish Spider-Man on PlayStation, you were left wanting more, looking to see what's next, and we got a sliver of what's coming with Miles Morales. That wasn't meant to be a fully fleshed out game, just a telling of what's to come. It still did an amazing job depicting all the characters and the villains, but it still left you wanting more. And what exactly do we want? That's the big question of the video. For me, there is one that I want to see no matter what in this sequel, and that is Mysterio and even the Elementals. I believe they will be a great addition for the villain pool in the next game. They can either be a side villain or a main villain. They just need to be in this game. And remember, Peter has already fought him, we just never saw it. He could very well make a reappearance later down the road, as we've seen with some other characters already. So you're probably asking, why do I want Mysterio? Well, take a listen. Just think about all those Mysterio sequences from the movie. They were outstanding, some of the best parts of it. And in my opinion, every time Insomniac does something in Spider-Man, they do it a little bit better than they do in the movies. And that's not dismissing the quality of the movies, they are still very good pieces of entertainment. I mean, let's just go and take a look at what Ratchet and Clank is doing, also from Insomniac Games, especially this part of the game. Very trippy, very mind-boggling, lots of stuff going on here. Now imagine a Mysterio sequence with some of the stuff we're seeing on screen right now, and it'll be mind-blowing if we get anything like this, especially with where we are now with the most powerful PlayStation console. The possibilities on what's capable are incredible, and Insomniac Games loves to go bigger each time, and to have these grand, visually appealing sequences. And most recently, after doing my playthrough of Miles Morales, I noticed that Insomniac Games had a big, strong focus on color. And I know, you're thinking, really? You're gonna talk about color? Yeah, I'm gonna talk about color. Color is amazing. Color in entertainment is some of the most powerful forms of expression. It's what made Spider-Verse so spectacular. And Spider-Man PS4, while it looks great, feels great, it's not as colorful as the most recent Miles Morales game. They went overboard with the colors here, and if they continue to expand upon this idea, we can expect some really eye-pleasing scenes that showcase the true power of the PlayStation 5 in the sequel. And there would be no better way to achieve something like that than a fight with Mysterio and the Elementals. It would be one of the most talked about scenes. If you couldn't tell by now, I really want Mysterio in this game, so I'm looking for every way to get him in. But let's take a pause on what I want and let's focus on what the community said with what they wanted in the sequel. And don't worry, I haven't forgotten about Venom. We'll get to him soon. The community overwhelmingly stated that they wanted Green Goblin to appear into the sequel. And right now, we're going to dive into some slight spoiler territory for the end credit scenes in Miles Morales. so you can skip past this section if you please and skip to the other villains that the community stated that they wanted. Okay, so based off of the end credit scenes, we have a couple of options here. First, we get a cameo from Dr. Kurt Connors, aka the Lizard, one of the first characters that Spider-Man has fought off-screen, reappearing. And using this information that we have from the end credit scenes of the original Spider-Man, we can tell that by the looks of it, Harry Osborn is undergoing some sort of treatment. It looks like the Venom symbiote has attached himself to it. And this isn't the first time we've actually seen something like this happen to the character in the comics. If we take a look at the Ultimate Spider-Man, Harry Osborn actually takes on the role of the host of Venom, and this would fit with the subversion of expectations from Insomniac games that they do want. People are used to seeing Harry as the Green Goblin. Now, Insomniac games can go a couple of ways with this. Harry could become Venom, or it could be passed on to someone else if the symbiote is denying him, which it looks like it might be based on the treatment that he's undergoing. If he doesn't take on the role of Venom, I believe him or his father will take on the role of Green Goblin. Remember how we said, color and entertainment are some of the most powerful forms of expression. Well, take a look at all this color. It's green everywhere. It can't get more green. From what I and from what the community wants, I do think Green Goblin or Venom will be the main villain that Spider-Man goes up against, and I think other characters such as the Wizard or Mysterio will be side villains. With the introduction of Venom, this is where you could also bring in Miles. If Venom at one point latches onto Peter, it could very well be the role of Miles to put a fix to it and snap him out of it. Well, like we've said, we don't have much to go off of. Aside from little hints, secrets, collectibles, and these tiny short end credit scenes, we don't know much. Needless to say, it'll be interesting to see how it ends up. As for the other villains by the community, Carnage has a slight lead compared to the others. This one makes sense because of the love and devotion for Venom, and it would be amazing to see an introduction to this character. And if anyone can do it, it would be Insomniac Games. Then we do have my boy Mysterio in third place, and then right after him we have Sandman, and lastly we have Taskmaster in the final role. And this was only a handful of characters that could appear. We could very well have much more in addition to this list. We're just gonna have to wait and see. And with all of that said, that about concludes today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you had any ideas that were different from the ones that we stated in this video, feel free to comment them down below. I'd be happy to hear it. And with all of that said, my name is Oni, and I'm out for now. Bye bye.